Good morning, everybody. It is June 17th, and we are in our Habits of Health book. We are on page 55, which is the last page of 1.1, kicking us off into the next section. So don't hesitate to come off if you have a question or want to insert a comment, my friends. So, this is my energy level is very different and our lives are just completely changed. Transformation, and this is from Susie Heyman. I decided to do Dr. A's program with my husband. It was one of just many that we've been on, and little did we know our lives would change. In the past 3 years, we've been able to change our health completely. My energy level is very different and our lives are just completely changed. In the past, what we've done is diet after diet after diet. What we now know is that diets mostly fail. This means that we have undergone a lifestyle change and we've ingrained these healthy habits that we didn't even really know about. Because of that, we're able to embrace our health and we don't feel like it's a diet at all. Learning the habits of health has affected me so much. Dr. A has been able to enforce those habits and show us why we want to have them in our lives. Everything from the amount of water that we drink to how to fuel ourselves properly and the habits of sleep. By becoming part of this community and being exposed to Dr. A, we've seen what's possible and learned how to become the highest version of ourselves. So we're moving into part 1.2, the path, the creation of optimal health and well-being. If you had the choice to thrive in your health and life, would you take it? I'm not asking you if you think you can do it. I'm only asking if it's important to you. I know the thought of being healthy might seem a long way away from where you are right now. If your motivation for buying this book was to lose some weight, the goal of optimal health and well-being might seem like a fantasy. Like me, it really isn't. Oh, let me assure you, it really isn't. You can definitely create optimal health in your life. You just need to learn how. The insights you will gain in this part will lay out the path. Understanding that your body is no stranger to optimal health is important. Most of us are born in pristine condition, but that's a really fun thought. We're born in pristine condition, and understanding that your body is no stranger to optimal health is important. But once we leave the womb, everyone's life takes a slightly different path. We are thrown into a world that is intrinsically unstable. That's why entropy, the natural tendency of things to lose order, is important. Weeds take over gardens, rooms get messy, cars rust, our carpet gets old, and so do we. Our health and our well-being determine the trajectory and the speed at which we age and get sick. The good news is that we can find entropy. We can weed our garden, organize our room, wax our cars, clean our carpets, and so on. And when it comes to human entropy, we can make different choices. Change the environment we live in and the people we associate with. So how about we kick entropy in the rear? You're going to move from healthcare to self-care. First, I don't and can't possibly know how well you have done to this point. You've been subjected to so many influences that shape your health and your life. Enablers have either helped or hurt your health. The journey from infancy to childhood, those difficult teenage years, and the development into adulthood exposes us to many variables. Along the way, we adopt values and beliefs that become the primary drivers of our thoughts and actions. They help us negotiate everything life throws at us. This programming is influenced by our parents, family, friends, teachers, and mentors, or the lack of them. Environmental influences are also powerful determinants of our current health and well-being. They include where we live, our socioeconomic status, our education, and the institutions like the food, transportation, technology, and medical industries, all of which are designed, at least in theory, to serve us. All those influences have brought us to this point in our life story. Your story determines how you respond to your world, and your story is driving your current behaviors and your choices, most of which are made without conscious effort. Are those choices currently driving your health and well-being in the right direction? For most, the answer is no. Is non-sick your way of life? We used to think if you're not sick, you must be healthy. That's how much of the medical world saw it too. But that's changing. In the last few years, medical research is starting to validate what the Habits of Health transformational system has been preaching for a decade. Non-sick and healthy are vastly different states of being. Non-sickness is like purgatory, surviving, not thriving. It is caused by eating an excess quantity of nutritionally barren, calorie-rich, unhealthy food which overwork the pancreas and facilitate your body's storage of fat. Okay, I repeat this so often that I'm going to repeat it again. This is something really to think about and absorb. This is a huge piece of what we do. Non-sickness is like purgatory. Surviving, not thriving. It is caused by eating an excess quantity of nutritionally barren, calorie-rich, unhealthy food, which, listen to this, overwork the pancreas and facilitates your body's fat storage. And that's what we learn how to do. We learn how to actually heal our pancreas if it hasn't completely stopped, if you're not type 1 diabetic. But we can reverse that. It's crazy. So non-sickness is a state in which your muscles become weak and flabby. Are we hearing like tons and tons about our EAAs and all of the different ways that we could do this? Oh my gosh, last night's webinar was fabulous. You don't get enough sleep and you're always stressed. Non-sickness invades your thoughts and feelings and takes the joy out of your days. When Zoom, anybody? It's a state that leads you to progressive dependence on medications to relieve symptoms that are merely your body's way of telling you you're not healthy. If you drive your car off the showroom floor and on your way home the oil warning light came on, would you cut the wire and keep driving? No, you'd take it straight to the dealership. So that begs the question, why are we suppressing our body's warning signals? With the industrial-sized bottle of Tylenol, a blue light special on 1,000 capsules of painkillers is not a good thing. By concealing symptoms, did you hear that? By concealing symptoms, by putting band-aids on symptoms, you're ignoring physical and mental signs that something is wrong. The same stores that sell you over-the-counter medicines are also selling chips, sodas, candies, alcohol, cigarettes, and many other disease-causing products. Did we talk about that last night on the Zoom? Processed versus ultra-processed? To say it's hypocritical is a generous assessment. These choices, part of the habits of disease, lead first to non-sickness and eventually cause life-threatening illness. The road to obesity starts with a state I call pre-obesity, a more apt description than the innocuous sounding overweight. Excess weight and a sedentary lifestyle takes their toll and can lead to metabolic syndrome. which affects 1 in 3 Americans. In a state of non-sickness, time is not your friend because one day you will be so fatigued that you finally go to your healthcare provider and find out you have diabetes. If any of this sounds familiar, please don't worry. You're not alone. Close to 90% of our population falls somewhere in this non-sick category. The good news, or dare I say the great news, is that if you make the decision to change, and again, decision, commitment to change, this non-sick state can be overcome. And you can usually reach optimal health in a relatively short amount of time. Sidebar on the left, ahead of the curve, the Healthy Living Study. The year after the first edition of the Dr. A's Habits of Health came out, a key study was published in the Arch of Internal Medicine. They evaluated over 25,000 people and concluded that by adhering to 4 simple lifestyle factors, you can reduce your risk of developing major chronic disease by 80%. Those lifestyle factors are not smoking, BMI less than 30, performing 3.5 hours a week or more of physical activity, adhere to dietary principles such as high intake of foods, vegetables, whole grain breads, and lower your meat consumption. Crazy. Did you hear that? 80% reduce your risk of developing major chronic disease. And I'm just going to throw in here, I no longer have markers of rheumatoid arthritis. I no longer have markers of Hashimoto's. They told me those are not reversible, that I will always have them. Maybe I do have them, but I don't have the markers. So 10 years. 10 years. I just realized I am beyond my 10 years. So, choosing your health path. Let's look at the health paths most people find themselves on. Too often, non-sickness, progressive over time to sickness and disease, a descent accelerated by our modern lifestyle. Take a look at part 1.1. It's not your fault that you're struggling, if you need a reminder, but this decline isn't inevitable. You just have to realize life isn't a reality show. It's real, and it's the only life you've got. Waiting for healthcare providers, weight loss gurus, and drug companies to come up with a solution won't work. Your health is not a spectator sport. You need to create focus and expend energy to create stability, structure, and simplicity. In essence, we're fighting entropy and creating health. Let's start by asking a few questions to determine your current direction. Is your health improving every day? Are your daily habits creating greater health and vibrancy, or draining your battery and putting you on an accelerating path towards disease? Are you already in non-sick or a sick state? The answers will tell you whether you're on a path towards illness or health. What if there's 2 words there. What if you're already descending to a state of disease? Is it too late? Not at all. Even if you've tried time and time again to lose weight and create health, but only failed, your future is still far from determined. You can change your path. You just need to take the right actions. Begin to adopt new healthy habits and build momentum. And I will tell you that my doctor did not say it was because I lost 53 pounds in 5 months. The reason I do not have the markers of RA or Hashimoto's is because I embraced the 6 macro habits of health, and he listed them off. A little bit of exercise, drinking water, staying low glycemic, fueling my body properly 6 times a day. And it was kind of funny, I found out later, he actually coached what we coach. It was crazy. I didn't know it. He didn't tell me that. So, you just need to take the right actions, begin to adopt new healthy habits, and build momentum. You're not predestined to get sick despite what pharmaceutical commercials tell you. In fact, as you can see in the next illustration, the further you are from optimal health, the more dramatic your change in your health is likely to be. So I taught on Ultra Health last night, and it was crazy. It's like 20 to 30% is genetics. 70-80% of it is our habits and what we do. And then I actually really loved the part where it was like 0.5% that is luck. So sorry, those numbers just really stood out to me last night talking about this. So changing your health plan. Optimal health, non-sickness, sick. Remember, the goal is to be much more than non-sick. It is to be healthy and to thrive in all areas of your life and your daily habits. Your habits of disease or habits of health will determine your direction. Your habits of disease or your habits of health. Right there. What direction do we want to be on? It's a choice. It's a decision. And we can do it. We have to commit. All right, page 62, transformation, Rita Taranelli. At 41 years old, I was not feeling very well. I was overweight and had gone to my physician and was looking at taking some medications for various things that were going on in my body. I was very unhealthy, even though I was young and I looked good. I just didn't feel very good at that point. I was introduced to the habits of health and changed my habits. Over the years, they've become a second nature. I have just been exercising more, eating well, and sleeping better. All those things that we're taught that we don't put into action. Finally, I put them into action to work for me, and they have been great over the years. For me, the habits of health was a lifestyle change. It was more about eating better and eating every few hours instead of just really big meals and feeling tired all the time. It was about exercising, but exercise in moderation and not overdoing it. I wasn't sleeping very well, so sleeping played an important part of my health, as well as being more active and doing a lot of things with the children. On the right sidebar, a micro habit of health. Micro habit is the small n, HOH for short, is a habit that's small, easy to do, and almost impossible to fail. So what are those little things? So each day, do you have a goal to have a minimum of 64 ounces of water? That's a micro habit to support. I love to get 100, but if I get 64, I know I can do that. Do you have a goal of 10 minutes a day of walking? You know what? If you get an hour of walking, fabulous. But if you have that micro habit of 10 minutes, it's not overwhelming. You can get 10 minutes in. You know, one of the ones that I love is I do bathtub push-ups when I go to the bathroom. My minimum is 5. So every time I go to the bathroom, I lean against the tub and I do 5 push-ups. A lot of times I'll do 10 because I've got time. If I don't have time, 5. My upper body strength is crazy amazing compared to what it used to. So those are micro habits that support our bigger picture. So the path to optimal health and well-being. A lot has happened in the world of research since I wrote the first edition of this book. The Healthy Living Study, as well as a series of new studies, validate the importance of a healthy lifestyle and staying healthy and improving our quality of life. What needs to happen is the wholesale adoption of a healthy lifestyle across America and the rest of the world. Over the last 10 years, as researchers have been validated that healthy habits make the difference for sustainable and transformation in health, we have been figuring out the what and how, constantly improving our methods to provide practical solutions, and in the process transforming thousands of lives. In part 1.1, It's Not Your Fault That You're Struggling, we discuss the conflict between our own biological design and the modern world. We also realize that if you are going to change your health and life, then you're going to have to be the master of all your habits. You won't be alone. I will be here with you, and I will suggest other things we can do to build your support. But it has to start with you. Let's now look at the key areas of focus and how we will approach them every day. The habits of health, an overview. Where are we at with time? Okay. Yeah, let's keep going. Oh, actually, let's stop because we're going to jump into those habits of health, those big macro habits. So, again, the newer books are probably a different page, but we're going to end there on page 63, and I will